Now, of course, the most exciting thing about today is it's paint day. It's not just spraying the primer day or spraying the ceiling day, it's green paint day. So, I mean, of course I mull over the colors for such a long time. I changed it a bit from the color I had in the 20-footer here in the kitchen and living room in my last place. So Chris has been working away at this, and this is when it gets really exciting, when you get your color on the walls. Look how bright it is in here in the daylight now. So Chris is cutting in with the green in the living room. It's a little bit different than the green we had in the bedroom because that's leftover paint. And this color, well, the paint is from Home Hardware, so it's the Beauty Tone paint. Looks really nice against the bright white. So he's got the hard part done. He's got the cutting in done, and he's just gone to get the rollers and the roller tray, and now he can get the first coat on the walls. Pretty happy with this. All of these kind of greens I just love. So, and the ceiling just makes it so bright in here. Even with the green on the walls, it's going to be beautiful. And it's so funny because the paint color is called just beautiful. And the color is, funny enough, just beautiful. So that is the color, name, and number there. So this is the color. That's the red leather from the chair. Whether or not we'll have room for it, I don't know. This is some fabric I bought to refinish the brown chair and ottoman. And this is a red velvet that I bought a whole bolt of, that I still would like to make a slip cover for a sofa with, or I might make a new slip cover for the chaise if we have room for the chaise. So it's all kind of up in the air yet. But that's the green color that he's painting right now. Well, it is just a beautiful day on the prairie today. The predicament, as usual, is it's too hot to be out in the direct sun, and almost everything that needs to be done is out in the sun. I was going to paint the trim while Chris is painting the living room, but it's just too hot out in the sun. I can't take the heat anymore. We did pick some berries last night. We picked some Saskatoons all through the tree line here, and you can see there's still tons and tons of berries on the bushes. So we got a pound last night, but you can see how big they are, and there's so many more on the bushes. There's way more than what we got last night, so we get several pickings out of these. Look how loaded with berries this particular bush is, and we get a lot off this one. And like I said before, because these probably hadn't been picked in many years, once we started picking them, you know, I think they actually produce a lot better. They're a lot bigger, a lot juicier. So pretty happy with that. We had a meat bird die the other day. Lost a nice big fat one. So we are going to have to get them slaughtered next week. Am I allowed to say that word online? Anyway, anything that's factual or true is kind of they're all bad words now. But the cherries, I can see a difference every day in these ripening. Now some I would probably pick right now. And these are still a little small, but it's a very, very young tree. I've got a net over this now, so that, because the fence was getting too small and it was dragging on the branches. But I'll get at least one pie like last year out of this tree, so that makes me extremely happy. That one, I picked the cherries off it just because they're tiny, but you know, it's a brand new tree. This one here, Lots of cherries still, but they're all green. So, not too sure about that. But like I said before, really pleased. I've got the buckets back on the rhubarb to try and force the rhubarb a little more. Really happy as usual with this apple tree. It's doing really well. I don't think there's as many apples, but there's tremendous growth on the tree. If you look, this branch starts here, comes all the way up here. So the guy that taught us to prune them said to prune like half of this branch back, because if you get apples on the end, it just bends the branches right over. And they're all like that. Just fantastic growth on everything this year. Just amazing. But the biggest surprise has to be the raspberries. And look at all this new growth coming up here. Just, again, tremendous new growth. And I did mow quite a few of the shoots too, because the greenhouse was here. But yeah, they're ripening so quick, and if they just slip off like that, they're ready. Like, I can see a difference between now and last night when I was out here showing Chris the raspberries. Will I get enough to make a whole pie? I just don't know. But I think I might actually pick the berries, freeze them, because I just get bits at a time, and then see how much I've got altogether. I did get a pound of Saskatoons last night, and that was just the very tip of the iceberg. My friend said that the waxwings are the ones that eat the haskaps. Not too happy with those birds, but next year we will have the fence going along here and then netting just going over top of the bushes like that. Again, absolute tremendous growth on these gooseberry bushes. So as usual, we're saying next year, next year. I would like to figure something out, like put a tube or something at the bottom of them that will kind of hold them up off the ground when I'm mowing, because the branches all lay down almost onto the ground. So I got to think about something to use there. Maybe even cut a bucket, put a slit in it, and see if I can open it up enough to keep those off the ground. Pretty pleased at the size of the apples. They don't seem like they're getting eaten by anything this year. Maybe it's too soon. But I didn't take any of the smaller ones off of these clumps this year, mostly because I just didn't think about it. I didn't have time. But again, these branches that come from way down here, way up in the air, will need to be cut back. Because if they do get apples, it just puts too much weight on the branches. Now the strawberries, oddly enough, seem like they're just warming up. We got a couple of good rains, and look, there's some over there. I just picked them the day before yesterday, and then there were some more last night that Chris thought need to be picked, and I think I will pick some more today. But yeah, they're just sending out tons of suckers, and they're the leaves are so healthy. Again, I'm just shocked, I guess. So again, it's hard not to eat these because they just taste so amazing. Such a huge difference. And but I think what I want to do is make a batch of jam using all of the berries that we get on the property. So strawberries, raspberries, Saskatoons, currants. Well, haskaps are out, but I do have some frozen ones that I bought from a producer here in Alberta. But yeah, look at the growth of the, coming right out of the center of all the strawberry plants. Now the beets are an epic disappointment. I just planted more seeds for the third time. I got 2 little beet plants. That's all I got. I wanted to can some beets this year. So we'll see. I planted some for the third time. We'll see if then anything comes of those. And I evened this all out, and the chickens have been in here again, but I guess them fertilizing it directly is fine. There's nothing in this one. I didn't get carrots planted, which I plan to do in here. Now this was my epic mistake for 2024, leaving the fabric down, thinking we would be ahead of the game, and I just have a colossal crop of weeds, out of control weeds. Fantastic garlic too, but you can hardly see it. So I think I'm going to just start poking away at this and get a row at a time done. Put in the rot pile. Look at, every time we come over now, she starts chirping because she wants us to bring her clover. Your babies are getting spoiled too. Their fuzz is almost gone from their heads, so they've almost got all their neck feathers and everything in. So pretty soon I will be able to tell whether we've got hens or roosters. Fingers crossed, of course, for hens. Hey, Chrissy. Look at these bums. What a life. Just a life of leisure. And half of you are not laying eggs. Not too impressed at all. Freckles and Goldie are over here, away from the crowd. Aren't you girls? You just enjoying some peace away from everybody? Oh, Seagull has to go right in the middle. Don't mind me. I'll just lay right down on top of you. Right in your face, eh, Freckles? Now, big predicament. Hopefully, Chrissy's babies will be ready to integrate in the flock 2.5 weeks from now when Wilma's babies are ready to go in the brooder. Hey, Mommy? She's actually letting me pet her sometimes now. She's one of the crabbier chickens. But she's staying on her babies and doing her job, aren't you, Mama? So Chris has got the first entire coat on the living room. So he's just going to start cutting in again and get the second coat on. And then we have to figure out how many pieces of green trim we have to paint to put on, and then the living room will be finished pretty soon. Gonna be doing flooring. So Chris is completely done painting the living room. Dining room, if you want to call that little spot on the floor the dining room. And so now we are gonna paint the trim, me and Chris, that goes down the corners. These corners, little bits like that. I'm going to paint those green, and but they can't be put on until the flooring. So he's going to do the bedroom now and flooring tomorrow. Now the only thing that's not too bad today is there's a nice breeze. So I got this one row done. That huge garden cart was I got 2 big carts full, putting it in the rot pile. But you can see how great the garlic looks now. There was some up at the end of the row that had way too much clover choking them, so they didn't do well. And then I got started on this row here. Chris and I have to take the fences out of here before I can do those rows. But these giant dandelions, I actually thought it was going to be a nightmare, but they're just snapping right off. So the big bunches of clover I'm giving to Chrissy and her babies, and they are just thrilled. So I think while Chris is still painting later, I might get these 2 rows here. These are the tomato rows. Get these 2 rows done because the fence isn't in the way, and I can just park the cart on the outside of the fence and get these done. And Ruby and I keep calling her Ruby because I'm so used to Ruby had my 3 clutches. Look at them. They just love having this little tree here to go under. Oh geez. How can you tell when you got roosters? They're sparring like roosters. So yeah, this wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. So I'll get it cleared out. Hey babies. Put your hand up if you're a rooster. Which ones are roosters, Chrissy? So Chris has got the big wall and the end wall in the bedroom done. We finally figured out with the numbers and everything on the paint what I did. This is the lighter version of the footsie pajamas, and if I thought about it, I would have put the lighter one in there and the darker one in the... Oh, look at that big spider on my paint. Where is he? Look at that. Gonna have to paint you, buddy. So I used a darker color in the living room and a lighter color in the room with all the light, but it doesn't matter. This is the color, same color that I used in that 20-footer, which I just realized today. So the one can of paint that we were going to use was gone bad, so we only have the 1 gallon for this room, so we're hoping it'll give us 2 coats. If not, I'll have to put the same color as the living room in here, which is no big deal, and because I'm not going back to town for more paint. But that sure looks pretty too. And tomorrow's flooring. I'm so excited. Did I say I'm excited? I'm so excited.